Hello, and welcome to this special Frontiers Health preview episode of the Pharma Forum podcast. I'm your host, Eloise McLennan, and today I'm joined by Steve Seuntjens, who is a partner at Personal Health Solutions, or PHS Capital, as you will hear us refer to it later. Steve, welcome. Welcome to the show.
Thanks so much, Eloise. It's fantastic to be here.
Now, we are celebrating in 2025 a bit of a milestone for Frontiers Health as it marks the conference's 10th anniversary. And to highlight this, Pharma Forum is running a special podcast series in the lead up to the event in November, speaking with some of the key voices in the field, where we'll be reflecting on memorable moments from past editions of the conference and exploring what health innovation is going to show us next. Now, as many of our listeners might already know, and if you don't, Frontiers Health is hosted and powered by Eversana. It brings together innovators, entrepreneurs, investors, and industry leaders for high-energy sessions and some off-site conversations that are often inspirational, often provocative, and always packed with insight. So we're hoping that this will serve as a bit of a preamble to what's to come in November. Now, Stephen, as we mentioned, sorry, I keep calling you Stephen. Steve,
Steve is fine.
Thanks so much for joining today. We kick off with a quick introduction. Can you tell us a little bit about the work that you're doing right now?
Yes, maybe just quick my background and how I came to do what I'm doing. So by way of background, I've been an entrepreneur. I've worked in corporate and obviously now am in investing in health. I've had 10 years of telecom experience, and the last 15 years has been in health. I'm American in Belgium, living in Belgium currently. And with PHS Capital, what we're currently doing, PHS Capital is a firm based out of Amsterdam that is investing in individual-centric digital health is what we are doing. And we've been doing that for over a decade. Actually, I think coming up on 15 years. So that has been our specific focus, and we invest both in the U.S. or North America, I should say, and Europe predominantly, although we could invest outside of those areas as well.
And we'll touch upon individual health and what exactly that is a little bit later on in the episode. But as I mentioned up top, you are an old friend of Frontiers Health. Do you have any favorite memories or a particular moment that from the past events that perhaps stands out to you?
Yeah, I think, Frontiers has always been interesting because it brings really a lot of the pivotal people, change people, agents together from across the globe. But, it as you mentioned, it's been going on for several years, and it's been in Berlin, Milan, as well as Rome. And so it's really the people that has made this so fantastic to get together and really have a pulse of what people are thinking, where people believe change is coming from, so on and so forth. But one memory you're asking for would be a few years back, we did a panel at Frontiers, and I don't remember I think it might have been in Rome, and it was a look forward towards health. And it was really with some key people within the industry that gave some fantastic insights. And also it was a lot of fun because individuals have had the battle scars over the last 10 plus years.
I think that's an interesting way to put it, battle scars.
Yes. Well, building companies is never easy. And especially in health, it's extra challenging. Why? Everybody that is outside questions why. And I think it's because of so many different stakeholders involved.
And you mentioned there the panel that you were referencing was talking about looking forward and looking ahead. So what are some of the give us 3 key areas that you're most focused on in your current work moving forward?
Yeah, I think, moving forward and actually it's kind of been the same since inception. When I co-founded this with my PHS Capital with my partner. And for us, it's really about putting the individual in the middle and why. So I mentioned earlier, individual centric. That's really a focus for us. We have a very simple investment thesis. If you really can engage the individual in their health, you're going to drive health outcomes. If you drive health outcomes, you're going to reduce costs and increase quality. So it sounds, you can have very complex theses coming together in what an investment thesis may be. But at the end of the day, if you are truly able to engage an individual in their health, you're really going to make an impact. And that impact will drive quality as well as cost. And I think that is what digital can bring, and what really the new health and the transformation of health is all about, is really starting to meet people where they're at in their lifestyles. Because, for example, if you have a chronic disease, you are going to live with that. You still want to live life. And it's not all about being a patient your whole life and thinking about that. It's how can I best maintain or manage this condition? And that's really thinking deeply about the individual and how you can meet them where they're at and provide really high quality solutions for that. I think, the other aspect that we really look to do is get into underserved areas, areas that have traditionally been left out. And if you really look at them globally and you apply digital factors to that, you can really bring scale to these things, which makes them sizable businesses. And so we look to come in early, and everybody says we don't overdefine. We look at the development of companies as early, mid, and late stage. Given digital health, there's so many different factors of what is needed in any particular stage to move forward. So that's a little how we look at it. And the other thing is we predominantly are focused on software-based solutions. We don't like to get involved with hardware. Hardware reduces scalability. If you look at how many digital devices that individuals have in their home or on them today, wearables, there are multiple ways of developing solutions through software that really can create tremendous impacts. And then I guess, the other aspect over, as I mentioned, I've been doing this for well over a decade. And as the whole digital health space has developed, of course, more and more areas get saturated, such as there's a lot going on in the cardio space or diabetes. But for us, it's, as mentioned, more underserved. And what interests me tremendously now is the area within mental and brain health overall. And some will say, well, mental is somewhat saturated. That's the front end side of mental health, with some of the solutions out there that have been running and going, and many others. That's not necessarily what I'm talking about. I'm talking about some of the deeper verticals for the issues within mental health, as well as brain health when you get into Alzheimer's, dementia, so on and so forth. So I think, this is a space that has not seen much activity and is starting to get attention. But if you really look at the numbers, it's an area that we need to really focus on to really bring about healthier, happier societies overall.
Well, Steve, thank you so much for joining me. I think that's a great place to wrap up for this short session today. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you say at Frontiers this year, and I know our listeners will too. So thank you very much for joining me. Thank you to listeners for joining me, and stay tuned for more of these little teasers for Frontiers Health 2025.
And that concludes another episode of the Pharma Forum podcast. You can find more information about this episode, including a download link and information about previous installments at pharmaforum.com/podcasts. The Pharma Forum podcast is also available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Overcast, Pocket Casts, Podbean, and pretty much wherever else you download your other podcasts from. Just search for Pharma Forum and follow and hit subscribe. Of course, don't forget to visit our website itself, where you can sign up for daily and weekly news and analysis bulletins. And do follow us on Blue Sky and LinkedIn at Pharma Forum. That's all for now. Thank you for listening.